Whether you have a diagnosis or not, I don't care. I'll teach you how to find what's causing your health struggles using the blood work you already have, right here on this podcast. But also in my new book, Why Are My Labs Normal? Go grab it on Amazon and let me know you love it and appreciate the knowledge by leaving a review for the book and for this podcast. This podcast is sponsored by my favorite supplement companies, Systemic Formulas and My Biome. Come join me inside their private Facebook group for practitioners called Systemic Formulas Clinical Nutrition. For everybody else, go join them on Instagram at Systemic Formulas. All right, let's get started. Now, the one we're going to talk about today is called the CBC with differential. It is the basic standard blood test we all have. We're going to talk about 5 key markers inside that CBC. Now you're going to see the CBC, and the very top of it is going to be this white blood cell count. Okay. That white blood cell count is going to tell us whether or not we have infections. Now, infections wreak havoc on every cell, every organ, every gland, every system of the body. So if you're one of those people that's like, I just feel like a mess, and yet nobody can tell me what's wrong with me. Well, you're in the right place, because when you fight these things, you're going to have symptoms that don't fit underneath an umbrella. And when you don't fit underneath an umbrella, you don't get a diagnosis. Therefore, they don't know what to do with you. Autoimmune disease. Why does somebody get Hashimoto's at 17 and somebody else get Hashimoto's at 37? You're going to learn what triggers autoimmune disease. And when you figure out the trigger, now you know how to treat it by removing these triggers. So right off the bat, white blood cell count, the standard lab range is, failing everybody. What we want to pay attention to is this range. It's the normal lab range condensed into the smaller version, 5 to 8. Okay. Now, if you've listened to me on a podcast, you'll hear me mention this, but I very rarely get into the additional components on what you guys are about to learn. But say you have a marker that says it's 5.8. Now, just because it's 5.8 within that range doesn't mean that the markers below it, which we're going to go into really detailed discussion about, aren't going to come out clean. Always, always, always double check these additional markers. Okay. That one might be fine. One lab test, another lab test, it's like 9.9. And 10 years back, you look at your labs and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm 3.2. Or so many times people on social media will say, I've always had low white blood cell count, and yet my doctor just washes it away like, oh, that's just your normal. There's a reason why. And we're going to jump into it right now. So pay really close attention, because these markers are going to change your life. They're called neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, and basophils. These are going to be at the very bottom of the CBC. Okay. So the top marker is white blood cell count. You're going to bypass like the next 7 to 8 markers, and you're going to see these 5 markers. If you don't see them, that's a possibility too. Because if they're not there, your doctor only took a CBC, not a CBC with diff. The differential portion are these 5 markers. Okay. So if it's there or not, it's okay. You know what to ask for in the future if you don't have it. Make sure it's a CBC with differential. Most of the time it is. Sometimes they didn't bother checking the right box. But now you know what to tell them to do. Or if you don't want to go through your primary care doctor, no matter where you are in the world, you can order these lab tests online, and they will ship the kit to your house. And then it's just a finger prick to get the blood. All right. Neutrophils. You want to see these guys less than 60%. Now, there's two versions of this on some labs. Sometimes you're only going to get the absolute value, but most of the time you're going to get the percentages. Just pay attention to the percentages. Okay, so you want to see it less than 60%. Say it's at 68%. Now you want to be concerned about a low-grade bacterial infection. What does this look like? It looks like chronic diarrhea, chronic constipation, joint pains. Maybe you've been told you have rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia. It can look like a lot of things, but those are the big ones. Digestive issues, GI complaints, joint pain, something like fibromyalgia. Okay, making sense, Jamie? You're on mute, yeah, okay. All right, remember guys, I'll get to the chat as soon as we're done. I want to get through this and then we'll go back through the chat box. Okay, that's the neutrophils. If it's less than 60%, that's most likely a good thing. It's a bad thing. We'll get to that when it is in a minute. Now, lymphocytes, you want to see lymphocytes less than 30%. If it's above 30%, say it's 42%, you're going to think virus. Okay. Lymphocytes, their primary job is to fight viruses. Now, this isn't a test where you're going to go to run to your doctors and say, I have a virus. I was on this workshop with this girl. She told me I have a virus based off this lab, right? Don't use my name because they'll think you're crazy. This isn't something that's going to come up positive on a test. Or even if it's Epstein-Barr virus, COVID, I don't care what the name of it is. There's thousands of viruses out there. Most of them are good guys. This is something that you're fighting fatigue all the time, and yet your doctor keeps telling you that it's because you're a mom or you just need an antidepressant. That's why. There's this low-grade virus hanging out in your body, and it's just your body's constantly fighting it, so it doesn't have much energy to do anything else. I hope this is making sense to everybody. You're like, yeah, oh my gosh, it's totally me. It's totally me. Let me know in the chat. That's totally you. You're sick and tired of being told that it's because you're a mom or your grandma. Now you know, you're thinking, oh my heck, my labs I'm at 38%. No wonder why I'm always tired. My body's fighting something. Now the monocytes, that one can be fun because you want to see it less than 7%. Say it's 13. That's really high. 12, 13, 14 is really high. Now, you're also fighting a virus, or it's another way to determine if you're fighting a virus. But at that level, it easily could be Epstein-Barr virus, a positive test. I'll give you an example. I had a 17-year-old boy I was working with. Finally, his teacher told his mom, or one of his teachers in high school told his mom that he's like falling asleep in class. This really smart kid with lots of energy in the past is now falling asleep in the middle of class. And it's been happening for days now. So mom goes to the doctor, gets this regular blood work done, CBC with differential. I was already working with her because she is now conquering autoimmune disease. Like it's behind her now. She's doing super good. MS kicked it to the curb. So she knew about this. So she had me read her labs, his labs. his monocyte count was at 13%. So I said to her, you know, if you were to go get a blood work test done for Epstein-Barr virus, I would be willing to bet money that it will come back positive. So for funsies, she did. She went and got an Epstein-Barr virus test taken on her 17-year-old son. Sure enough, it's positive. Now, Epstein-Barr virus is also known as mono. Okay. If you've ever fought mono in the past, chances are you're still fighting it today, because it never goes away unless you work with someone like me who knows how to treat viruses and boost your immune system. Because the doctor literally says, oh, good luck, go sleep for 3 months. I mean, the last 2 years, where has it led us? More and more vaccines, but we won't get into that. Viruses are just, they're there. We fight them all the time. They're nothing. If your body's given the right tools, it can do its job. Okay, that's monocytes. Anything less than 12%, it's a low-grade virus. No worry, don't need to test for the Epstein-Barr because it won't come back positive. It might be there, but it's not active enough to elicit a positive test result. Making sense, guys? Okay. All right, before we jump into the next two markers, I want to see inside the chat if this is all making sense. If you got your video on, love it. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense so far. Thumbs up. Okay, Jamie, Julianne, Rochelle's got thumbs up. Okay. If you guys are understanding this, give me a thumbs up in the chat. All right, Grayson, we'll get to your question in just a minute. I need the thumbs up icon. Yes. Rose, Jennifer, perfect. Okay. The neutrophils, again, over 60% bacterial infection. Lymphocytes, over 30% viral infection. Monocytes, over 7% viral infection. Can you have all of them? Yes. You can have bacterial and viral and fungal and possibly even parasitic. It's okay. In fact, co-infections are the most popular. If you're fighting autoimmune, the most popular are virus, bacterial, and fungal. That's what triggered the autoimmune, most likely the virus getting up there, escalating. Okay, what about parasitic? That's where the next two come into play. Eosinophils. If eosinophils are over, let's see here, do my math right, 3%, or basophils are over 1%, now we're looking at something like parasites. However, eosinophils can also be food allergies. Usually, though, by the time people are figuring this out and they get to me, they've eliminated every food they could possibly eliminate, and they still feel like crap. So now we have to go in under parasites. So say your eosinophil marker is 7, oh, that's pretty high. Let's go 4.8. I don't know why I always use 0.8s, but I do. 4.8, basophil marker is like 0.2. Look at this marker and say, am I eating any food that my body is hating? Maybe I need to get rid of it for a certain time, do some healing, and then it can handle it again. If you're like, I'm eating rice and chicken, that's all I'm eating, and I still feel like junk, then we got to go after these guys. And there's a couple different methods to do it. I wouldn't do it alone. Does that make sense? Those of you who have your labs next to you or looking at your labs, what are you seeing in your labs? Any red flags within those 5 markers? Rochelle, eosinophils 7. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the only thing that's off. That's answers. That's right there. That's answers. 7%. So look at food first and then possible parasites. So when it comes to food, I would recommend eliminating 4 food groups for 21 days. Just 21 days. That's it. Why? Because I like bread. When I go to Texas Roadhouse, I'm going to eat the rolls. So telling me to go gluten-free for the rest of my life, screw it. I will never tell you guys to go gluten-free for the rest of your life either. So eliminate gluten, dairy, soy, and refined sugar for 21 days. That time period is enough to reset your body and literally lower inflammation levels. Okay. Now keep going in the chat box here. Before we dive into more of the labs, I want to go over one very, 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 very important pattern that you're going to find. Now, you're not going to see this anywhere else. So this is me thanking you for joining me live. Neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, and basophils. Now remember, this is 60, 30, 7, 3, and 1. Okay? All of these are going to add up to 100%. Now you do the math, that's going to be 101, but with the decimal points, when you guys get your labs, they will always add up to 100%. So I always get questions. Well, what if mine's low? Say my lymphocyte count is, 14. I get this on social media all the time. I don't really care about the low because that means something else is really high. That would probably mean, you're up here at 78 and maybe this is 3. If something's low, something else has to adjust to make everything always, always, always equal 100%. So pay attention to the high, guys. That's where your answers are going to come. Okay. Now here's the very important pattern. Neutrophils, we want to see at around 60% or less. Lymphocytes, we want to see around 30% or less. This is a 2-to-1 ratio, right? 60-30, 2-to-1 ratio. That's a good thing. You see that? You're doing good. What happens if we start to see this? Where the lab ranges start to meet in the middle. And we see this 1-to-1 ratio. The closer you approach the 1-to-1 ratio, the more you're fighting an autoimmune flare. I know there's several people here on this call who are fighting Hashimoto's. I guarantee everybody knows somebody who's fighting autoimmune. Now remember, focus on what's high. So this is 42 is high. So therefore we know that the autoimmune was being caused by a virus. The virus then got triggered, became more active than normal. Sometimes that's pregnancy. Sometimes that's labor and delivery. I mean, how many of us know some moms who are like, I was fine until I had my 3rd kid. Then all of a sudden my health tanked. It was the trigger that caused the downflow effect of that. So anytime you see that 1-to-1 ratio, now you got to focus on the immune system. And you got to say, why is my immune system fighting so hard? What is it fighting? Chances are that virus. Once you remove the triggers, combat the virus, possibly even the bacteria and the viral infections, because a lot of the times it's all 3 together, then you can go in and give the immune system things like high dose vitamin D to give the ingredients it needs to do its job. I'm literally teaching you guys how to beat autoimmune right now. Based off of what your blood work says is what triggered your autoimmune. Vitamin D. Then we can do things like rehab the gut because the immune system is the gut. Now, the mom up the street here in Utah who was fighting MS this summer, she can go out and have fun with her kids. Last summer, it was MS nightmare because the heat caused the flares. She's riding 100-mile bike races. I mean, she's doing everything she could possibly think about in her late 30s. Got diagnosed with MS at like 36. The stuff is powerful. These labs have the answers that you need right inside them. Now, as far as the pattern, what if you see something like 48 and 40? Is that close enough? Well, I would say so, especially if you have symptoms that nobody can figure out. If you have any type of autoimmune whatsoever, you feel like a hot mess, no one can figure you out. You have a family history of Hashimoto's, Parkinson's, like my family. In fact, I just had another family member get diagnosed with Parkinson's last week in his mid-50s. One day they'll listen to me. Till then, can't help them. What if it's 50-30? I would say on that one, unless you're finding autoimmune symptoms specifically, focus more on, I would assume with those numbers, I would assume the monocytes are like 9 or 10. Because again, everything has to add up to 100. So something else is going to be elevated if we're dealing with low numbers. And in that case, the monocytes would signal virus. And sometimes you'll see monocytes high, but the lymphocytes are fine. So focus on all of the numbers. Whew, 20 minutes of the CBC. Answers like crazy. Okay. How many of you guys, by raise of hand, get inside that chat? Let me know if you just learned something you had no idea. Julianne, yes. Get inside that chat. Grayson, yes. Yes, 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 definitely. Okay. That's CBC. We all have blood work. Rose, eager to look at my past labs and tomorrow's labs. Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up because you can go back 10 years ago. You can go back 7 years ago. If you felt like crap 12 years ago, get labs from 12 years ago. Get all of your labs because you're going to see sometimes that ratio will appear and sometimes it won't. But the times where it did appear, you felt like crap that day you took that blood work. Whereas other times it appeared and you totally felt fine. Tina, you have years worth of labs comparing them all while we speak. Love it. So many answers written inside that blood work that you guys already have. And now you can be the person to read it. Just sweet. So much power. Okay. How many of you know I have a book? Jamie knows, Julianne knows. Yes. We are on our final revisions. It's a long process, guys. But if you're going to say you're going to write a book, just know it's a long process. And I'm so grateful I hired the team I hired. We have so many of you who have already bought it and ordered it. Perfect. It is going to come early next month. Rose and everybody else who hasn't ordered it yet, go here, drkylieburton.com, and all the ordering details are right there. Now, Amazon might tell you it will come in July. Ignore it. We just can't change it on the Amazon end yet. It'll come in the 1st of April, beginning of part of April there. You can buy the hard copy or the paperback copy, not the hard copy, the paperback copy, or you can even get 2 of them right now. Just everything's there at drkylieburton.com. Okay, that will break down more of the CBC and additional other markers, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. Does the book give supplement protocols? Dina, the supplement protocols are included in the free blood work cheat guide. So inside that blood work cheat guide that you guys should all have because you're on this call, it will say bacterial and viral 90-day kit, or you have adrenals, so you need some adrenal support, so go grab GA. It really teaches you everything you need to know about your labs. Now, if you are wanting more of the protocols and more of the supplement plans, I have 2 options. Okay, you guys all listening up? This is how you can take your health to the next level and quit guessing. And know by the time summer hits, you're going to be able to go out and play with your kids and take them to the swimming pool as many times as you want. The first option is a DIY route. So if you want to do it yourself, I have the Academy. The Academy has now been changed to lifetime access, one-time fee. Hitting your inbox this afternoon will be a code that gets you a fast action taker coupon code inside the Academy. But so many people will just be like, Kylie, I would really love it if you could read my labs and set me up with a personalized supplement plan so I don't have to guess anymore and I can stop wasting money on supplements that don't work. If you would love me to read your labs, you can do that right here at the link, drkylieburton.com/book. It's $500, $495 for me to do all of your lab readings, every lab work you ever have, compile it into a simple, straightforward plan, record a video, send you everything you need, and you can get started like that within a couple of weeks, no matter where you are in the world. Kat is from UK. You can buy the book at the same place. We'll ship it international. So drkylieburton.com. Amazon has it as well. And I'm hoping in May, the Audible version is available. I got to sit my butt down and record it. Whew. Okay. DIY route. If you are a DIY person, the Academy is the right place for you. If you would love me to just take a look at your labs, read it all for you, create a plan, I'm only offering that for like the next 1 or 2 months as I'm starting to teach more practitioners and transition over there, but it's all right here. And again, links will be hitting your emails this afternoon. All right. Take a big deep breath because that was a lot in 30 minutes. Now, let's jump back into your questions. So if you guys have questions, I want to jump back into the chat box here all the way up. Rochelle did the cheat sheet. The food thing is new. I don't have to talk about the cheat sheet and the food thing. Love the info about the pattern. That pattern is crucial. Okay, here we go with some labs. 7 eosinophils. Yes, so start with the food thing. Eliminate those foods, see how you feel. And then if it doesn't make a big change, go after the parasites. But also pay attention to all of your other labs because that has additional markers and answers. Jennifer, in 2021, my eosinophils were 5.8. Basals at 1.9, lymphatic lymphocytes at 36, and monocytes at 11.7. So with additional or numerous markers off like that, eosinophils, basophils, lymphocytes, and monocytes, that's very, very common to see multiple infections at one time. Remember, now you have more answers inside that blood work than you ever had before. Treat all of them. First, monocytes and lymphocytes with the virus. Okay. And if you guys want here we go. Because you're live and I want to reward you for being live. Vivi will fight your viruses. It is an antiviral supplement. I would pair that with DV3. which is vitamin D, to give your immune system what it needs. Then, if you're seeing bacterial and viral or bacterial and fungal infections, or just bacterial, always pair it with fungal. And that supplement combination is Bactrex and Fung DX. You can get all of these here. Now, the Academy has all the protocols in it, plus coupon codes to get the entire kit for $100 off. Okay, but that's giving you a sneak peek of background to, okay, now you know, what do you do about it? Here's how you treat it. Vivi and Bactrex and Fung DX are like very popular 3 combination I put together, because chances are if you're fighting one, you're fighting more. And they all come from systemic formulas, which you have to have a doctor's license to utilize their supplements. So everybody use mine. Okay, hope that helps. As we jump in and we see multiple markers off. It's common, it's okay. You know how to do it. Just treat them all. Okay, Lisa. Neutrophils 50.7, lymphocytes 36.3, monocytes 9.1, eosinophils 3.3. I'm guessing virus and parasites. Lisa, I would just start with virus on that one. And then I would do more of your food culprits, because a 3.3 and 0.6, it's not telling me that's bad enough to do a parasite regimen. Parasite regimens they might not be fun. So start off with the virus. Okay, 2 sets of labs a few years apart. One has high neutrophils, the other one has high lymphocytes. Could that be going back and forth? Yes. That's why I love getting labs multiple years back, because you'll see different scenarios in different labs. One lab, you take the lab test, you felt good that day. There's no 1-to-1 ratio. Another day you took a lab test, say you took it 2 years later, you felt like crap, and there's a 1-to-1 ratio. Remember, these infections are going to be active more at points of your life than at other points of your life. So, when you talk about, I'm having a terrible week. Like, I have no energy this week, and I have no idea what's wrong. Your infections are more active than they were last week, or your body had more tools it could use to fight the infections off last week versus this week you're more depleted. Making sense, guys? How this all comes together? Okay. And it's very, very common to see back and forth, back and forth. Jamie, neutrophils of 65.9. That's, slightly high. Could be terrible, or it could be way worse. If you have GI complaints like chronic diarrhea, chronic constipation, upset stomach, acid reflux, GERD, joint pains, I would address the bacterial infections. Same thing with INS, or I don't know, INES. Bacterial, fungal, and viral. That's why I have the kit, that 90-day kit, because it's the most popular combination. That 90-day kit will be the protocol you need for the next 90 days to conquer the infections, bacterial, fungal, and viral. And it's, like I said, the most popular combination. Jamie has, let me go down. 65.9 and lymphocytes at 26.2. So same thing, Jamie, with the symptoms. Julia and Hashimoto's. So many people find yourselves in those shoes, and dang it, those labs are 60, about 30, 9.5, which is off, 3.2 and 0.7. So Hashimoto's, your Hashimoto's, like many others, was triggered by the virus. Okay. When people go in and treat Hashimoto's and any autoimmune disease, they focus so much on the tissue that's being damaged. The thyroid is what's being attacked. The spine is what's being attacked with MS. Crohn's, the gut is what's being attacked. But you always, always, always have to figure out why, what's triggering the attack, remove it, and then go in and calm down the immune system, give it everything it needs. So Julianne, if I were you and everybody else who's fighting Hashimoto's and autoimmune disease, or thinks that they might be, Vivi for your antiviral, high dose vitamin D, then you can go in, heal the thyroid. And one of my favorite supplements, I did a video on this on TikTok last week, is Super Oxycell. Super Oxycell is a cream that you can, it's loaded with antioxidants like glutathione. Go in, apply that topically over your thyroid, and that will protect the thyroid while you're removing all of the reasons why it's being attacked to begin with. Does that make sense, guys, with that autoimmune? Remember, it's the immune system that's attacking your tissue. You got to go in and calm the immune system down. If we're fighting autoimmune, how many IUs of vitamin D? Let's talk about vitamin D. It's very, very important. We got 10 minutes left. Now, the lab test for vitamin D is going to be between 32 and 100. That's the normal range for vitamin D. I want to see people around 80, if not 80 to 100, and I don't care if it's above 100. That just means your body has what it needs. This range is to say, oh, if you have vitamin D in that range, you're not going to die. You have minimal amounts. This range is where you're actually going to feel good, okay? So based off of your labs, if you are, say, less than 50 or even less than 60, especially fighting autoimmune, I would do this dosage. 25,000 IUs of vitamin D per day for month 1. So for 30 days, do a high dose like this. Now, your standard prescription dose is going to be 50,000 IUs per week. That's not enough. Maybe if you have that, I would do it 2 or 3 times a week. Then month 2, drop it down to 20,000 per day. Month 3, drop it down to 15,000 per day and maintain at 10,000. Your immune system needs vitamin D. It is crucial to have enough vitamin D in your immune system for your immune system to combat the autoimmune. And say you feel really good at 20,000 IUs per day, and when you drop it down, you just don't feel as good as you did. Stay there. Stay there for a little longer. Jack that vitamin D status up. Feel good. Continue to feel good. And then you can go down to that. Now remember, the source of your vitamin D is very, very important too. Don't go grab something off Costco or Walmart shelves and think you're going to feel better with it. Get the good stuff. And DV3, people always tell me on social media, well, you have to have K2 and you have to have magnesium. I'm like, yes, I know that. But it's simplicity. DV3 has everything in it. That's capsules. They also have a liquid vitamin D that tastes like orange soda pop. My kids love it. I give it to them and they get mad when I stop giving it to them. So if you want a liquid version, you can do that as well. But your source matters. And there's your dosage for vitamin D. Okay, here we go. Keep going. EOS lymphocytes. Hold on a second. Is there any issue with high D and kidney issues? Doc says she's seen this with patients. I've gone to war with this too. Kidney issues, vitamin D toxicity, and I don't buy it. I have never seen anybody with toxicity issues with vitamin D. I think it's something else. It's either one, their source is sucky. They have a crappy source of vitamin D and it's causing more stress on their kidneys. Or two, they're taking way too many supplements and pharmaceuticals and it's causing stress on their kidneys. Everybody I talk to, all my colleagues, everybody who's hosting podcasts. I mean, a guy named Matty in Australia, I was on his podcast last week and he and I were talking about this. Like we just don't see vitamin D toxicity and it's getting blamed for so much. And yet it's so simple to change. That's where you can get it. Okay. I know this one, 5,000, but to catch up 10,000, you taught me that. Yeah. Okay. Inside the academy is where you learn how to read your own labs. It gives you everything you need like this with an actual group. Yeah. The academy is more DIY stuff. Emails Karen 50 11 35 1.93 50 11.9 53. Okay, Karen, viral. Viral's the dominant one in your scenario. Tackle it first. Eins. Yeah, I'm glad I pronounced it right. Is shingles a trigger? For sure. Shingles is virus. Did you have shingles? Shingles sucks. Yeah. And did they give you anything for treatment?
I had to take what's the med that they give?
I don't know, but I know there's a medication that they give. Okay.
Yeah. So I took that antibiotic.
All right. For the doctors on this call, there's a couple doctors on this call. I just announced on the practitioner call earlier today, 90-day program in which you can become a functional blood work specialist. So right here, first, fantastic PA, former MS, so passion because past experience with patients, but yes. Yeah, email me. Email me, all practitioners. If you're not getting the practitioner, email me. Okay, that's the quickest email. All practitioners, email me. I launched the 90-day program this morning. Well, it's not launched. I talked about it for the first time this morning. It is launching April 4th. So any practitioners, if you guys on this call, you're working with a health coach or a practitioner, invite them because I'm teaching everybody I'm teaching as many people as possible how to do this lab work stuff. And not only are they going to get lab work certified, it's a done for you marketing system and business system in as well. So, okay. Dina, I'm halfway through parasite treatment now. Some days I feel horrible. Sounds like that is expected. Correct. Some days the parasite treatment just sucks. I mean, think about it. You're literally eliminating junk out of your body. Your body is doing work and it's processing stuff. It's going to suck. Some days you'll feel okay. Sometimes you'll feel awful. Sometimes you'll feel good. The way I found my way around it is to support before we go into that destruction stuff. So be sure your body has what it needs: vitamins, minerals, methylated stuff, have healthy fats. I mean, all the basic stuff. Support that and then go into gut destruction, whether it's bacterial and viral and fungal or whether that's parasitic. Okay, Grayson, 30 to 63, 26, 8.5, 8, and 6. Those are labs, Grayson, where I'm just like, oh, I want more. I would do viral first based off of the 8.5. My neutrophils have been high for 2 years. Okay. The kit, the bacterial and viral 90-day kit has everything you would need to conquer all of the infections at the one time and within the 90-day period. It's that 90-day protocol. Again, guys, you can grab all the supplements here. And the Academy has codes. Sometimes when you jack up vitamin D, go slower, work your way up. It's 25,000 might be a lot at one time for some people. And it sounds like, Anne, that might be you. So be sure you eat it with food, take it with food, and then be sure you have things like magnesium, calcium. You have DV3 that has all that stuff in it. Take it with food. Start there. Karen took 2 bottles of Vivi and it helped. Yes. And Karen, now you know that if you start to feel tired, really tired again, you know what your body needs. That virus is coming back. So grab some more Vivi when you need it.
I did
40
take it with food.
Sorry, Anne. Okay, you did take it with food, Anne. Anne, email me. We might need some other ways to work around things. Ellie, you can do 2 per day, depending on how high the lab test is. Like you can go up to 3 per day. Jamie, yes, definitely fix iron first. Iron is a must. Your cells need oxygen. The best way to do it's food. That's the easiest way to do it. There's a couple supplements you can get. One of them is Hemivite Plus, or because your labs are so low, I would actually ask your doctor about a pharmaceutical. They have a pharmaceutical iron, and then it's by far the best route to go with iron. Ellie, if you can do all 4 together, that would be best. So pick a time, I'm going to do this March 4th or April 4th. I'm going to start on a Monday. I'm going to do it for 3 weeks, eliminate all of those foods together at one time, and then prepare for it for those 3 weeks. Tina, autoimmune, 46.7 and 44.4, that's autoimmune. With a virus driving it all. So you could do the bacterial and viral infection kit, and then you could go in and do the autoimmune kit afterwards. I think I skipped a couple people's up here. Let me go back. Yeah. 14-year-old daughter's labs, 42.7 and 46.6, autoimmune. At 14, here's what I would do. If she's okay doing capsules, great. If not, get the liquid vitamin D. If she will listen to you, then you can do more. But the best thing she could do is that liquid vitamin D. If she's only going to do one thing, give her vitamin D, because that immune system needs it to help combat that. And you could even do Vivi if she's willing to do 2 things. Those teenagers, you just got to work with them. You got to meet them where they are. Okay. 68.2%, 26, 4.3 point. So 68.2% is going to be your bacterial infection. And chances are we have some gut issues or joint pains as well. So tackle the bacterial infection, and then your body will be able to heal. And you guys, when you're dealing with these infections, these are the reasons why you get on hormone therapy and it only works for a certain time. Or you've tried, every supplement under the sun. You've literally tried everything and you're still not getting the results that you want. Because most oftentimes people will bypass this infection part and they'll go straight to hormones. And yeah, that can help. That can feel beneficial because you're helping out your hormones, but still your body's still fighting this stuff. So you're going to feel better, fight the stuff first, and then go in and heal, which is why this workshop's first. Tomorrow we're going to do metabolic panel, which is adrenals, leaky gut, and liver. So if you want to know if you need to do a liver detox, metabolic panel. It's got answers. She's taking 33, holy smokes, 33 medications for hormones and antivirus stuff. Whew. If you guys have any other questions, just shoot me an email. I'm going to type it right here in the chat. Can a virus cause hair thinning? Yes. Viruses can cause about anything. And I've had so many people say, after COVID, I'm losing my hair like crazy. Yeah, I don't want to say this out loud. So everybody on the call, get in the chat and write down my email. This is for you people on the live call. I don't just give this thing out. Can you not lose weight if you have a viral infection? Yes. Viral infections will prevent fertility. They will prevent weight loss. They will prevent you from getting successful results in just about anything you try. Yep. Sorry, Ellie. Do you have info on low iron? Yes, it's in the academy. There's a whole entire module on iron inside the academy. But like I said, Jamie, start with food. Google sources of iron. Red meat's the best. Go into supplements if you can. But with your numbers, I would ask your primary care doctor for a pharmaceutical. I promise that pharmaceutical will change your life overnight. I've been on it myself. In fact, I had a miscarriage and I lost so much blood. I was 20 weeks into pregnancy, and this is back in 2017. And I was so depleted. I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even stand up straight because I'd lost so much blood, but they didn't give me a transfusion. Me thinking I had access to like all the best supplements in the world. I do, but supplements suck when it comes to iron. They don't have much iron in them, and your GI tracts are very sensitive. Okay. So when my midwife was like, I should not have gotten into this. When my midwife was like, hey, I can get you a prescription. And I asked her what the dosage was. It blew my supplement out of the water. Get the pharmaceutical. Those things are good things. You might do a transfusion if it was 6. Yeah. You can definitely do a transfusion. I mean, that's straight to the blood, which is the best. If you won't do that, you'll at least do a pharmaceutical. Okay, I know someone asked this. I'm going tomorrow to a cone beam test. I have 3 root canals. Can that be a cause of Hashimoto's? Yeah, I need to do it's on my list. I'm going to have a holistic dentist come on the podcast and talk about these root canals, talk about mercury in the fillings. Because dentistry is one of the most toxic careers people can go in through, that and cosmetology. So for sure, having my root canal removed next week. Yeah. Julianne, since you're getting your root canal, will you send me the information of that dentist? I've been trying to find the right dentist to get on my podcast, and I just can't get one locked in. Dr. Stephen might be it. All right. I use a Rifa plasma ray tube machine to understand the opinion of its use. I'm not too familiar with it, so I can look for more information. If you have high Clostridia markers, does anything on your site help or need a script for it? Clostridia is typically bacterial, I believe. So Bactrex would be the antibacterial component, Tina. Okay. All right, I think we're getting to everything. Going to a biological dentist here in Florida. Yeah, if you guys know of holistic dentists, will you shoot me their information? I'm literally trying to get one, if not a couple, on the podcast in season 5.
Wasn't that just loads of gold? Keep the gold coming by grabbing my book on Amazon, Why Are My Labs Normal? Go grab it, let me know you love it, and appreciate the knowledge by leaving a review, both for the book and for this podcast. Share it on your social media too. I'm here to help. Dr. Kylie.